So I have just small scheme of a lot of possible different teams in your company. Sometimes you have like product team, sometimes no, sometimes you have community or it's part of marketing or whatever. So DevRel you see in the middle. DevRel connected to all of these teams and we need to work closely with all of them. And as Sasha told already, that sometimes in one company, DevRel works more like an engineering team and more on like demos, demonstrating and helping some clients with like tech support, for example. Sometimes the shift goes to marketing part more, and they work more on text, on some like this promotion materials, but more with a shift for developers. So to conclude that developer relations, it's like some kind of team or person who helps for the company. It helps somehow to adopt your technology, as already was told, like foster, facilitate, and be more like interesting to developers than something other. So you need to explain why this tool is better and to show and to demonstrate it. And also you work closer with community. You need somehow to cultivate, like to Sasha, it's your part. Yeah.
I think foster is a good word too, right?
Yeah.
To foster.
Yeah. Building culture and strong connections with your community, that community and developers would love to stay with this product, with this company, and etc. So shift could be different. DevRel could be sometimes even helping HR people to to promote the company as branded product awareness in technical way. So developers would love to work in this company. So it's also sometimes part. Let's go further. If you see, it's just like from DevRel state of DevRel, it's possible task what usually developer relations people do. So create educational content, you see, is like the top of the top. We create educational content, especially for some like target of specific developer audience. So it could be one blockchain, another blockchain, or Web2 company, whatever, but it's developer focused. So if we speak more about some marketing also metrics, then it's product awareness, because you speak about the product, but not from marketing perspective, but from technical perspective, and that's a very big difference. So yeah, a lot of different tasks, and how it works that at the beginning you just about developer relations people, developer advocates people also say that it's some person with stickers, for example, or they travel a lot, so they're quite fun. Yeah, it's like one side that you see on the events, but there is another side. So we also work deeply understanding, like for example, if we work for, I don't know, Polkadot community. So we need to focus on this environment, especially for this blockchain. And it works from sometimes from the event, sometimes just from some simple conversation. And you explain why you love this and why you're enthusiastic about some tool. And that works like this. Sometimes it's like word of mouth, but the idea, of course, just to make this environment that developers would love to stay. So we need to support them always and to help them. So first topic that we wanted to discuss with you today, it's educational and content strategy. So I told you that there are a lot of different ways how we can do this, developer relations, but let's stay and think about it. Like what you can say that what kind of activity or what kind of content attracts you more, and you understand that, yeah, I really love this company or this product or this library that actually helps me to work with this somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what would be the thing that would make you stick around as a developer? Yeah. Anyone from the audience? What would be that? Is it a piece of content? Is it a video? Is it just you think the tech is cool?
Yeah, let's like give stickers. Where are our stickers?
Yeah, so we've got we got some
you got
some of these guys
stickers
here.
and pens. Yeah, you can
Sean,
say or you
yeah,
can write, and we
please
can
feel free to
put
like
it
raise your
here.
hand, and I'll hand over the mic.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the mic here, just please.
1, 2.
Also,
For me, it's
hands, huh?
it's that like
We encourage you guys to like write things down, and we can put them on the board. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Sean, go ahead.
it's that like 10-minute or 1 hour tutorial that just like it works and it gives me the inspiration that I could do more.
Yeah.
Don't you sometimes think that you need to spend still 1 hour to learn about something and to understand does it suit to you or no? Not 1 hour is too much, don't you think sometimes? No?
I mean, I'm reasonable that if I'm going to learn some new technology, spending an hour is the right amount of time. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to spend a whole day necessarily.
Yeah.
But I think if anything less than an hour, I'm probably not going to actually learn anything significant, right?
Yeah, that's point. Some other opinions? Do we have lovers of like shorts?
I think there should be enough. Right.
Enough.
Oh. Yep.
Hello. Yes, I think yeah. So when this like initial tutorial or introduction has happened and you like it, then there is enough also to continue your journey. If you need it, if you don't, you set up your own or you go up your own way. But like there should be
First impression also, right?
well, that was what Sean just said.
Yeah.
But I think after that, like when you like it, there should be more to explore, and it should all work.
Some
Yes.
material and good
Exactly.
documentation with working examples and articles.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. But what attracts you more? So, where are you feeling this that you like something?
May I?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think that one important point is the first point, the communication that you have with developers. It could be your tutorial, video, or a lot of elements. But it's important the next step, that is the support.
Yeah.
For example, if I am going to follow a tutorial with, I don't know, maybe 5 steps, if I have a problem, with, who will be the person that can ask me questions, that can answer my questions, especially if I am developer, because each computer is a different world. So the
Right.
support is really important on that.
Yeah, and lack of support is probably going to deter you. Or in the same way, if you do a tutorial that's broken, you're probably not going to stick around for very long. Or it might inspire you, but yeah. Yet, I'm really curious in Celestia. So, how are you doing things, for example, in creating content to lure developers in? You want to share a little bit about your experience and what you see works well? What gives that aha moment to developers?
Yeah, I think the aha moment, I think everyone here in the room can agree. You all have that one name that if you say that, you will immediately associate that with, hey, this person made a tutorial that I got interested and I want to follow that person because they can connect with me without me even knowing them. A good example, for me, back in 2018 was Patrick Collins. I just typed in tutorial and then, oh, nice. Now I can follow that person and learn and have more and more conviction. And this is what we noticed too at Celestia, that a person that is a reflection of what you see as the eyes of the ecosystem is what is important. So imagine if you could see me each week producing content that will correlate to you having fun, I would say while deving, then I'd consider this a win. And yeah, for me, for example, the whole journey was Patrick Collins, and later, of course, I think everyone knows the name of Nader. And I think Developer DAO is the typical convergence of when people want to gather around and do as a single entity. And at Celestia, I believe that DevRel should, as you mentioned it, also have the brand awareness of their own persona, because then people can relate to that, and they know that, oh, Sacha made an alien technology breakdown, and now I can follow up on how I can create my own palette. Thank you. Yeah. And you see, like this is how we treat it at Celestia. We try to bring people forward who are dev advocate and DevRel.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I think it's so true. I see that a lot with how culture and trust is created between whatever that technology is and whoever is going to be spending time trying to build with it. And I'm a big fan of thinking of DevRel as we're building culture for builders.
Yes.
You'll hear me say that again and again, so I want to let you guys talk.
Yeah, the culture, I agree with you. Like the culture is that you guys and everyone building or watching it should have no hesitation to type, oh, I'm a grug, please help me to not become a grug. And you know that it's safe to say it because everyone is starting out. Like if you have this watchtower culture where, you know, oh, I'm a grug, but oh no, those wizards cannot answer to my calls, then it's GG. And I agree with you. Culture is here to fix that.
I would put here like culture, because sometimes we just want to have this feeling of belonging, like to something bigger. And like community, we use this word community a lot, but community are different. Someone like almost dead, no one writes there. But sometimes you just like these people in this community, it drives you somehow and inspires, and it's very, very important. And I think also that was told here that content should be relevant to you, right? So it's very important because it could be very content with a good quality, but it's not just relevant to you now. So that's why we need to understand regarding this like company blockchain, what's pain points there for this community. So I would put just relevant content.
I would even say that it's kind of like content plus education, because at the end of the day, all of the people have their own full-time jobs and they just want to have a TLDR of the culture and the ecosystem in general. And yeah, I saw that a lot of DevRels are successful by explaining, let's say, what is a parachain, or like explaining why you need to pay attention on Substrate, or like why this new module is the thing that you will care about. And yeah, I think education is part of also the content pipeline.
Yeah. Any other thoughts or questions regarding strategy, content, education, onboarding process? Also, actually part of this, I would say. Have you ever had situation when you wanted to try something, but onboarding process was so broken that you just like no way, I'm not going to do that. Have you? Yeah.
I had. Yeah, it was amazing. 2019, Substrate, and I was like, yeah, boy, I'm about to do my own parachain. I fired up that GitHub, and I was like, can someone kill me? Like, I want to be dead right now. Like, and yeah, and of course right now it's much better, but back then I remember that it felt like alien technology.
Yeah. For me, it's funny because I had a similar experience, but that's what kind of kept me around, because I'm like, okay, this is broken, but I wanna help, you know.
Yeah.
Make it better.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyone in the audience want to share like their piece of content that kind of, you know, made them stick around?
I don't have a piece of comment, but I have a comment on this part, which I think is, you know, one of the challenges I think of DevRel is trying to figure out, well, you know, if you have a product which is much more technical, much more deep, or requires much more learning, where do you position? So I think, you know, if we talk about like Substrate or whatever, launching a parachain is so much deeper down the stack than, you know, doing a smart contract, right? And trying to figure out, okay, well then how do you begin the journey? What can you assume about the user? What can you teach them, or what do you have to teach them? That's very tough, right? And I wonder again, like, if you have a very, very technical task ahead of you, is there a way to how do you package it in a DevRel friendly way to actually get the user successful versus, you know, I don't know, like, I mean, as I mentioned, I want a 1-hour tutorial. Sometimes some things take 1 month to learn, right? I don't know. This is one of the hard challenges I think of, at least in this space.
Yeah, I think in particular with building with Substrate, it's a whole different beast than kind of onboarding to maybe just smart contracts and stuff like that. So like, what do you guys think? What's the right piece of content to kind of get someone?
I think the right answer is to just comment how I would structure Substrate. Like, imagine it's 2019 again. How I would do that? I would literally copycat Crypto Zombies. It was one of the best apps. Me, as someone who was starting out, to not feel like, oh no, Solidity, it's a DSL that I don't understand, and then you open Stack Overflow and you see a bunch of reentrancy bugs, and you're like, how I'm built to build this? Like, it's just horrible. And then, as Crypto Zombies are pushing you forward to always, you know, take a step forward, I think all protocols should start from that first principles. Like imagine a dev only knows, okay, best case scenario C++ 11th edition, worst case scenario they just learned TypeScript like 6 months ago. And this is where you start the crypto zombies journey, when you, one by one, you give them what they can cope with. Because for example, with your case, I agree that chewing glass is awesome. Like Solana, for example, they worship the whole thing in 21.
Yeah.
But it's like very risky. And then it can work, but in majority it might not work.
Yeah, and then you see a lot of developers not interested in sticking around.
Yes, exactly. They're just not willing to take the challenge.
Yeah. So, and I just wanted to conclude regarding also onboarding process. I just think that content should be, you need to understand different types of users. Some users, they're just like beginners. Sometimes they are really like builders and first year ambassadors. And you need different type of content, like new features for ambassadors and just easy, smooth onboarding process for new beginners, especially like I'm from Web 2 world, and it's quite sometimes scary when you just switch to blockchain, like, oh my God, people, what are you doing here? Yeah, so it should not be so scary, and it should be very clear. And as we also told that in blockchain quite often it's not clear, something not working, something was updated, and just like nothing works. So we need always to check it. Okay, so just to conclude that I think that we need always to educate and inspire. So all the content should not be just like dry and not interesting. It should somehow catch your attention and explain why, what kind of your pain it could solve. It's not just like, oh, we created one feature. For what? Why you create? Why did you do that? So yeah, we're sharing knowledge, we're not sharing features. So next question is in-house developer relations, like advocates or people, and independent developers. What do you think? Like, because we as Web0, we're independent, and sometimes like you have in-house people. Like, what's your experience? Do you have in your companies DevRel teams? No? Yeah, micro.
I would be very skeptical of having an independent DevRel, like purely independent, in the sense that I think DevRel should also embody a lot of the culture of your product, have a good understanding of how the product works, always know more than the person who's asking the question. And I really wonder how much you can actually get if someone's independent, kind of doing this as a contract role or coming in to actually be able to achieve those kinds of things, especially like culture, right? Like, how can someone else define what the culture of your product is going to be to your developers?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And yeah, next.
Sean actually summarized what I was going to say pretty well, which is I feel like DevRels really do best being in-house, being somebody that understands the tech stack. Because like, for example, for what we're building, when we have to provide support to somebody, the person that's answering these questions needs to know how to answer it, because it's just like that instant kind of feedback of like, oh, we can just go this way or we can go this way. And also I think the culture piece is very important as well. It's like, why does this even matter? But yeah, Sean said it well.
No, you got it there.
Also on the topics of the relevant content and first impression, we shouldn't forget like DevRel, who are curating the onboarding content. We should not forget about adding more materialism to the content, as opposed to platonic content which is only about some kind of dry education. So developers who go through your educational content, if it's like, let's say, platonic, if it's just dry knowledge which will be just passed over once and will not leave the developer with something tangible, with something interesting, with something maybe rewarding in the with something that they will be able to return to in the future, it's just nothing. They will not return to you after this. But if you build like some kind of gamification, some kind of involvement into the process of onboarding, then they will value you, they will remember you across all of the other conferences, across all of the other projects with their dry and not interested in onboardings. Or you can build your onboarding projects around something, and so the developer ends up having something that they will end up self-hosting or getting something, some value from it, not necessarily monetary.
Yeah, yeah. I can add to that, which is that at Parity, when I was working at Parity, I found that the engineering teams that had this sense of like putting their work out there a little bit more, of just kind of keeping them to themselves, were a lot more successful at iterating and getting feedback on their products, whether that's a library or whatever it is that engineering department would do, and making it part of onboarding maybe other engineers to like thinking in the same way, and not just very insular and also like outward reaching. Yeah.
I would add regarding the topic in-house and independent that it's of course when you're in the company you may be much more, even have more insights about something, some politics in the company, but also when you inside, when in-house, there is another problem that people, when you speak with the people, sometimes by some culture of the company, you just cannot say something bad, right? But you know that something in the company that they're not doing everything like perfect. No one is perfect in this world. So when you're independent DevRel, you can like speak that, yeah, if you have this like problem, that maybe you need another solution. Mm-hmm. In the company, marketing never would allow you to do that. Sometimes you just like all your tweets will go through the marketing team and will be corrected or whatever. So you need to be somehow like independent developers. They are free in this. They can be very honest with you about all different, and they have much more, how to say, diverse experience in different areas and with different companies. And people inside companies, sometimes they forget to look at the competitors and learn from the best sometimes. So I think that it's like double-faced problem.
Yeah, I think that's a great addition to that argument. Because we do have tunnel vision. If you're just doing your product, if you're just about your product and how you think your product should be thought of, then you're missing out also.
Yeah, front-end developers never would invent TypeScript. It's back-end developers came and helped us. They want to add something? Or we go?
Yeah, I would just add that in-house versus independent, I would say it's mutually inclusive. If you, for example, if you think about Linux, I love that ecosystem. They have no DevRels, okay? Like, and we still love it because of how. Okay, fair point. Okay. And I think in Web3, what we all see is, for example, if you look at 2021, when NFT adoption kicked off, everyone was doing tutorials how to run ERC 721. Like no one forced from EF to do that. And I think this is where you come to this point where in-house is exploding to the outer flows and people start doing content on top of your content. Mm-hmm. And going independent is a reinforcing function to how well in-house has been executed. So yeah, I would say, you know, the love, the and.
Yeah, both. Okay, next question is very, very painful for DevRel teams, proving value. So what metrics, as far as I understood, you don't have DevRel teams, right? So we need to speak like what could be DevRel metrics if we want to understand our successful team at all. Do we need DevRel? Like why someone needs DevRel, right? You need to somehow explain what are you doing, what's your benefit of using, like having these people in the team or outside of the team, doesn't matter. So any thoughts?
Yeah, he didn't answer first. No,
I think a metric that I would look for as a developer is how many issues they open against our core repositories. So obviously DevRel, they expect to run into issues, have customers tell them about problems, whatever. They should have the job to translate those things and bring it back to the team, and ideally it's in the form of like GitHub issues.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I conclude like open issues? Or?
Yeah, like number of issues being opened by this DevRel team. I think it measures a lot of things. It measures how active they are in talking to customers, how active they are in using the things, and how active they are in understanding the problem and translating that to the thing. It's like it's a big part of the pipeline.
Yeah.
Sorry, Don, we
Yeah.
can't hear you.
Sorry, no, he is. No, I think it's correct because it also means that like the first impression was good. They have learned a lot. They want to learn more. Now they are in the tech stack and they are facing issues with the things that they want to build themselves, and then like they have enough motivation to open an issue, which is a lot. Like it's kind of like saying or a customer that comes back to you that says like I would put a little bit more salt in, I don't know, the thing that your product, the food that you're selling, which means he cares, or the person cares, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point I have 2 points. This closes the feedback loop from the community back to the developers. So this is another function of DevRel without which it's kind of open, because not necessarily community understands the issues, and not necessarily they are incentivized or interested in contributing or like opening the issues, because most of the time it's just either the waste of time in the idea because no one will fix their issue, like it usually happens in the open source, for instance. I mean, I don't mean anything against open source, but very much often it does happen. And on the other point is that there is DevRel and there is marketing. And if we take a look at a lot of blockchain projects which are truly about like some new technology, and they are introducing something new to the world, they are like evolving the tech, they are evolving the privacy, the security, and other things they are improving the economy or storage or decentralization and this kind of stuff. They unfortunately, mostly lately, like as far as I remember, 5 and more years since Ethereum, they've been busy with tech stuff and developing SDKs for the developers and products for the tech people, and not much of the products for the normies, as far as everyone here is concerned, right? And most of the products were for developers. And at the same point, marketing of these projects was tried to target a very broad audience of they never knew which. Like marketing for the tech projects never actually knew who are they targeting, and they've been soaking money from these projects forever. And in fact, the audience for these projects, for the tech projects, truly tech projects, is known. It is devs. And instead of marketing, DevRel is the right function which knows how to cater and how to explain and how to approach their exact audience.
So how would you measure that? What's the metric? Like,
basically, at this point, you can apply all the targeted marketing metrics to DevRel.
Yeah.
To the, of course, external. I'm only talking about external DevRel at this point.
Mm.
Any other ideas? Because I have next slide about metrics also. I will show when you finish with your thoughts. No? Yeah, I would agree that the marketing metrics are good in the meaning of they do it for a long time already. Marketing team, they always try to measure something, but unfortunately when they try to deal with developers, they sometimes don't understand their nature and what exactly these developers love, because it's all technical stuff. All these things around developers, they need to understand their nature. And also like Java developer, or Web3 developer, front-end developer, it's a bit another, like different developers. They like a bit different things and they think about each other different stuff. So, but yeah, I would say that attendees, views, contacts, all these marketing things, mentions, likes, reposts, comments, like how people engage with your product, with your library, with your tools, questions that they ask, and also questions that were answered, right, from your DevRel team, or for if you have tech support team, it's also quite important. Then I think that this is also very important, content created by your community. As we someone told, just that open issue, it's like some kind of interaction with your tool, more open, not just like it's much more passive. But when someone wrote an article about you, it's good when it's a good article. Sometimes it could be bad article about some tool or comparing something, but still people speak about you, and you need to understand what's wrong if they write bad content, what you need to fix. But it's also useful feedback. Then feature usage. Actually, I think not a lot of companies measure different parts of I don't know, blockchain, decentralized applications, or Web 2 application, web services, or even just native applications. They just like measure somehow in total, but actually you sometimes can do like feature usage and all this A/B testing, amount of answering questions I already said, time to respond. So if you had questions, how with your DevRel team, how fast they started to answer to the question and explain something, like what this time, because it's also important. Then satisfaction score. It's not only about your like company satisfaction, like your clients, but it's also about developers who are using your tool. And these people, usually they will come only if they very active members, but you can somehow find people who are using your tool, and you can ask why you stopped, for example, using this tool. So what was the reason? Then feedback, of course, any feedback is good. Use cases, like who started to use this? Why? What their use case? Because this is very, very important information. It's a goal to understand why people decided to use your tool for something. And then, we also say active contribution members, right? And the last I have Net Promoter Score. It's just like there are much more, but Net Promoter Score is when someone recommends you to someone else, and you can see it on Twitter, for example. People say like, "Oh, can you recommend me some?" Just like my friends tried to find something instead of like Jira or instead of Notion, because of some reason, and people recommend other tools, and that's very important that someone recommended you. So yeah, anything to add to this? No?
I think one thing everyone is talking about as an elephant is apps, in the sense that if you have explained the whole journey correctly and you end up with a dev or ideally dev team that shipped an app, then it's you won. Officially, you have won. Like it's you have achieved a level of godlikeness. And a good example of it, let's say, if we would put all these metrics is ERC20 tokens, and Hayden, who didn't know how to code, watched the video of Solidity, coded a little bit, came to Vitalik, shared the idea about AMM pools, and now it's one of the biggest DEXs in the world. So from DevRel scope and point of view, I would say an app is the ultimate convergence,
shipping new things, like tinkering with the tech, with the outcome of building something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I just shipped an app, and for example, thank you so much, Sasha, for helping me understand the intricacies of X. Now I leveraged feature X for my use case A. Now we have a bunch of users. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next question. Tools and efficiency. So we have now hype of AI, right? So we have a lot of tools for somehow they try to help us with different things in our life. But for DevRel, actually, there are also some tools. As far as I understood, because you didn't work with DevRel, have you ever worked with marketing or something, or you're all developers? No? Yeah, it is.
I worked with marketing and I hated it.
Yeah, so raise your hand if you're a developer. I just want to understand. So yeah, okay, that's clear. So there are some tools. Then do you want to add something? I will go through a couple of them. No. So yeah, I tried just to be this common room, and I like it a lot. Common room used, my friends, developers use it for Web2 companies, but I don't think that it's a problem because it's about community. So this tool, they have some free version. I don't want like to market them or whatever. I didn't speak with them about it. I just like know that this is a tool. It helps you somehow to understand your community better. So for example, you have a person from Twitter, a person from Discord. If they use the same email, this tool can help you to understand that this is the one person and the behavior of your users, and somehow to differentiate user groups. So yeah, if you have very big community, of course it's paid. Also, if you want to use as a business tool with this HubSpot tools, these marketing tools, then it's also, you need to pay. But it's still good because a lot of social nets, you can connect them for free, especially if you have not a big community, up to 500, I think. So nice. Then another one that I saw also in one conference, I really like them, Cookie 3. It's something instead of, that you can use instead of Google, Google Ads? No, not Google Ads. Google.
You mean AdSense? AdSense? Or no?
Insights that that you check who visited your page. Just forgot this name. So this is new and it's focused on blockchain. So unfortunately, you can't get a lot of information if a user on your website don't connect a wallet. But if someone connect a wallet, then you can have some information about these users. Like for example, on what coins they use. For example, you don't know amount of them, but you can get this information about in what other blockchains that user interested, like other coins, for example, or some maybe NFT information. But you can check them. Just I think it's much wider now than to use Google or something like this. Qatar AI also, they were at the guy was on our DevRel branch in Brussels. And they trying to build now AI helper to go through documentation. So because AI works very good with text now, and this tool should help you with finding some troubles with your documentation. Like some people write in the company a tool to check all broken leaks in documentation that were outdated. So this AI also can go through and help you with that, and also somehow help you to understand what content should be changed, like that this content is not clear, for example. So yeah, this is AI tool. And the last one is just someone told me about this. Yeah. Maybe you want to share? No. So OpenQ, yes, it's full CRM that helps you also to understand your community and how they engage. So there are different tools. It's just what I heard, but I'm pretty sure there are much more. Why it's interesting? Because especially if some of them for free, you can just try and to understand what's going on with your community. Because sometimes it's hard. You need to go to, I don't know, Reddit, Stack Overflow, Twitter, GitHub. So many platforms, and this can aggregate everything. You just start your day with your good dashboard and see what's going on today with my community. So that's cool. Can make you more efficient.
Yeah, I think OpenQ is especially useful to measure developer activity over time, right? Oh, I did a hackathon. I have a bunch of submissions. Great, but what's happening with those GitHub users? Are they still working on the tech?
Yeah.
And a tool like OpenQ is really helpful for that.
Yeah.
For actually using it. Yeah.
So, and our last question for today is preventing burnout. So I don't want to ask who was going through burnout. It could be sensitive information. But yeah, strategies to stay motivated, sustain energy, how to get back on a resourceful state. Does anyone want to share some information about that? Your experience, or maybe that you saw?
I think burnout is also just not unique to DevRel. I mean,
yeah.
But it's especially maybe more present. But yeah, I think it's a thing in Web3 a lot too, right? We go really high highs and then
Yeah,
but
I think it's about DevRel very like relevant for DevRel, because DevRel does, it's like I showed on the first picture, it's like person orchestrator. You're everywhere. So today you're writing article, tomorrow you create video, then you're on the event and you need to speak with a lot of people, and then you need some time for your personal life. So it's too much sometimes, and it's not linear. Sometimes you need to be very creative, and sometimes you need to do just like this reports or writing someone, look at numbers. It's absolutely different energy, and unfortunately, a lot of developers, they go through burnout sometimes. Dennis, you want to add something?
Yes, I wanted to add from the different perspective, the perspective which is usually being overlooked when we are talking about DevRel, the side of the internal DevRel people for the company. So those might be completely different people because they are oriented towards their developers, towards the in-house developers. And their targets are majorly different from the external DevRels. As I mentioned, they can be completely different people. And these people, these internal DevRels, can facilitate the communication between different developer departments, between different developer teams, helping out with coming up with the examples, coming up, well, let's not like say tests, but more improving the internal documentation, the internal education process.
Yeah.
Participate in something like developer retreats or something like that, in order to build and keep the cohesion between the different teams within the technological company. Maybe not every company requires them, but sometimes, and I've experienced that some part of tech department was very far separated from the other part of tech department, and they, at some point after a couple of years, they didn't even speak on the same language. Mm-hmm. And they were like so much far from each other, they stopped being friends at some point within the company because vastly different functions, but together with that they had to work on the similar projects, and it went through a lot of miscommunications, and that could have been some work for the internal DevRel function.
Yeah. DevRel sometimes also work internally. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes it's a developer experience team doing, I know, in some companies. So they hire engineers who will speak with the other engineers inside the company. You can call it different ways, but the idea is the same.
Sometimes that function gets to technical writers, for instance. Depends.
Yeah.
I just want to add, for me, I think to stay motivated, the diversity of things to do and not always doing one thing, it kind of keeps the spirit of being motivated. I don't know, and sustained energy. I'm just reading on these slides. What do you think?
I think everyone should go to Burning Man once every year. It will definitely help. And no, I mean, with all fairness, you guys said everything. From my end, just remember that you have a private life. That's important.
Yeah. And what about me? I like spa and I like traveling, so I just think that you need to understand yourself. When you're feeling that you're out of charge somehow, you need to know yourself. What do you love in your life? Is it like PlayStation, or it's like a party, or it's, I don't know, skiing? You need to decide. Yeah. And it's better when you know it before burnout came. So when you're just feeling this, that you are very, very tired, you need immediately to start doing, because when you will be in down position already, it will be quite late. You need to prevent it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, we talked about developer relations and all this about will they stay. If you just even created a very good event and people participated in your hackathon, or they just started to do a lot of simple apps, but are they going to continue build on this? That's the most important question for us. And that's like the work of developers to be sure that the work will continue, that it will be still interesting, that it will be clear for people, right?
Yeah, I think hopefully a lot of developers that were learning about Substrate and Polkadot for the first time will stay, thanks to a conference like this.
Yeah.
But I think that's, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
If they really stay, then the job is done,
Yeah.
complete. Yep.
Is it though? Is it finished at that point?
I think it's finished because then they become your evangelists.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, everyone who right now is successful on Polkadot, any other ecosystem, they kind of became, I would say, the evangelists that people relate to. A good example of the, I would say, current person who became that figure is Mert. I don't know if you're following crypto Twitter, but people think that he works for Solana Foundation, but it's not true. He has his own startup, blah, blah, blah. But people think of Solana through his lens. So the same goes, for example, for me, I was thinking about Polkadot as a successful protocol because I liked a lot Centrifuge myself. Like, I was waiting for all releases from the team, and I talked with them a lot during the days. And then, yeah, like, this is what I see as a successful DevRel, is when you have new teams who are representing the values that you nourished in them in the beginning. And then, yeah, so them
Yeah, no,
staying.
well said. And that kind of goes full circle on what you
Yeah.
were saying in the beginning of that intersection of in-house and then independent DevRels.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
Very cool.
Any other questions regarding developer relations? Do you want to create a team of DevRel in your company? Or you want to hire someone?
Hey, so a lot of focus is on DevRel taking care of the ecosystem and bringing people in. So I want to look at it from the project perspective. So what are the strategies where developers of the project can work in harmony with DevRel to make this happen, right? So do you have any like best practices? Like what,
engineering team together in tandem with DevRel.
yeah, so how they should be in harmony to get this broader
Yeah.
objective.
In my case, when I was working with like inside one company, so it was very good regarding developers. They were very eager to contribute, to do something more. Even me, I wanted to code during like my weekend just to deliver something for next conference. So you just like have this inspiration, Sasha, your experience.
I think like good communication, right, between someone that's going to be doing that work of evangelizing your tech and really evangelizing whatever's happening on the engineering side. I mean, if the engineers are kind of completely siloed off and not equipped to even have or create this communication, then you've got a problem. But at least you know how to fix that problem, right? It's creating more conduits between the two worlds.
Yeah, I loved a lot of brainstorming sessions. So we had a call, because we were fully remote, we had a call where we were speaking with each other, and I said that we need this, for example. Okay, let's think how we can achieve that. And people who were more skilled at some specific stuff, like in the company, they said that, oh, we can build this, like for example, or do this. Or at the other moment, I created one feature and I was so proud of that. So yeah, in brainstorming, when you're very diverse, like people with different experiences, that they look at one problem, but from different perspectives. That's, I think, very important for creating this experience, more engagement, and yeah.
So I'm basically a person who is in-house DevRel. When it was 9-person, it was very easy. You tap your mate and you say, hey, can you fix that crap? And then basically stuff gets done. But when you get to 50 people and a bunch of external users, it doesn't work anymore. So in order to get it, basically to solve the problem that you are presenting, GitHub issues is a fantastic way to explain reasoning, because I mean, as an ex-protocol dev myself, if I don't see a reason why this was created, then why I need to hear additional context from a human. Like, I just want to code, leave me alone. And if I see in the reasoning, like, hey, brother, your RPC is unsecured and it's convoluted and you need to know a port, and I'll just say, that human being is smarter than me, I'll go fix that. And yeah, this is basically how we do in-house when engineering teams, they are asking for feedback. Hey guys, what we should do? And then yeah, reasoning and GitHub issues, which are very tight, solves the problem. I hope it helps.
I also would add that sometimes even your developers, they're like silent, they do their tasks, but when you speak with them, they actually sometimes have a lot of ideas, and you can like make them live.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add like about DevRel and if the company or function never had any, it's never late to start having one. But we always should think about like how is it being introduced, how is it being started as a function which never existed in a team or in a company. So there is, like, as I previously mentioned, the external and internal DevRel. And internal is really hard to start with if you never had one. Basically, you will have to make your existing in-house developers to teach someone from DevRel or become someone of them a DevRel, like internal evangelist, that person who will be communicating between different departments, or like doing the documentation stuff, doing the onboarding stuff for the new developers, and once again communicating with different departments. Whereas external DevRel is very different. You can literally hire people who are experienced in external DevRel. They will start working on your documentation, they will start looking at your videos, whatever your developer-facing documentation is, and they will start kind of improving it. They will start documenting your code, they will start doing the examples, gamification, whatever, like everything that helps the external DevRel function. And let me shamelessly introduce ourselves. Web0 does the DevRel as a service, and we do like very client-oriented approach, where we start with auditing whatever you already have as DevRel, and then we come up with the detailed plan how to improve or build it from the ground up, and also help with your product and developer facing anything.
Yeah, come find us after the session. I think we need to cut it. We're over time.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about DevRel or Web0 or this event, you can go to our booth on the next floor and ask all your questions there, or write to us, Web0, join Web0 Twitter account. So thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vasilika, for facilitating.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for participating.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for implying get the audience into the mix. It's definitely brought something new to the panels. So thank you to you guys as well. The next stage will be about self-sovereign identity. I'm told you will be able to see how to craft a substrate palette and also to learn a little bit more about DIDs if you're interested. And this will be held in 10 minutes.